This is Adam Gorney, Rivals.com signing day show continues now with new Syracuse coach Fran Brown. That has a nice ring to it. I like how that sounds. What have the first few weeks been like for you? Obviously, you're probably just all over the place and really hectic.
It's been pretty hectic, but really just trying to get familiar with our team. You know what I mean, and then recruiting at the same time, but making sure that I'm splitting that time with my actual football team, and then trying to get guys to come in. So trying to make sure I do both, man. Nights go real fast. My sleep is really, really short and up and back at it, but just trying to split that time to make sure that both feel like they were wanted and needed and accepted.
You've had a lot of success early on, and especially in Jersey, and that's no surprise. But let's talk about Yassine Willis a little bit. Just a kind of a power running back, a guy that's not going to go down with shoestring tackles. How important was it for you once you got there to really target him and get him on board?
He's somebody I've been looking at for about 3 years now. Since he was young. I remember meeting him when he was in 8th grade and having an opportunity of seeing him and just seeing how his body was built, and then understanding his mom and dad and knowing who they are. So it's like, okay, not only are you going to get a good football player, but you're going to get a good kid that comes from great morals and values, and them being blue collar hard workers just like myself and don't take no slack from him. And his mentor Matthews, they just done a good job with him. So I wanted him. I see him more than everyone else sees him. I think he has terrific hands. You can do a lot of different things with him. He's not just a power runner. That's what everybody looks at. This kid could also go line up and catch the ball. He can do a lot on the offensive side of the ball, and we thought that he'd go well with what we're going to do with the running back that we already have, and him being able to come in and contribute in that backfield is a big piece for us.
Flipping kids is part of the business now. It pretty much always has been. But Manuel Ross, Jalen Hornsby, getting those guys in, how important was that for you? And how did that develop so quickly for you?
It's my state.
Yeah.
Coming back home, I got a bunch of coaches that are from here also. I think Elijah Robinson, Nick Williams. Nick Williams is like amazing. Nick Williams did a good job just talking to everybody. I said, God, I might have met my match when it comes to recruiting, but Nick did a good job of just communicating with guys, and then them understanding and knowing who we were going to get at wide receiver as our receiver coach. Ross Douglas is very detailed. He's accountable. He's relentless. He's tough. I mean, he left from the Patriots and decided to come with us during the season. He learned under the best that probably ever do it, arguably, if you want to look at that. So he was with the Patriots for 3 years, and those guys wanted to come play for Ross. We communicated with him and talked to him, but they knew that Ross was coming, and that they were excited about having a guy that coached in the NFL, that coached Pro Bowlers, that understanding and was getting taught the right way. And they're excited to be coached by Ross Douglas. So, Emmanuel Ross is a playmaker. Jalen Hornsby is just super athletic. I think both of those guys will get a lot better as the year goes on. And then they understand that this game of football, it wasn't a 1-year decision for them. They were looking at the 3-year decision of what they can be and how they can become, and just coming here with our new strength coach and being able to work with them. So those kids chose it the right way. I am deeply, deeply appreciative of Emmanuel Ross's mom and dad. They think they pray over our program, and they're good people. And Jalen Hornsby's mom is a good lady, and she understood what Elijah Robinson and myself went through growing up, because we all grew up in the same area. And she knows what we want for her kids, she understands and knows that we know what she wants for her kids, because we have children also. And, by all of us coming from the same background, it just kind of all clicked together. So it just clicked together. And like I said in the beginning, New Jersey is, we feel like it's our state.
You mentioned Nick Williams, very important. Talk about Elijah Robinson, though, because when Jimbo got fired at Texas A&M, a lot of the players wanted him to be the head coach. So essentially you're bringing in someone that they really wanted there. How important could he be just for the stability of the coaching staff, leaning on him, and then obviously from a recruiting standpoint?
First off, I don't think anybody wanted him to be the head coach there more than myself, because, we had a plan. And during my interview, he had an interview the same day, and we prayed together before we went into our interviews and talked. And it was just, we grew up together. So, he's super important to me.
Yeah.
You know, he's been more important to me than just a football coach, but who they all get as a football coach, who's a leader, who's a man of Christ, and just a guy that understands people. I use him the same way. I talk to him and I ask his direction and his vision on a lot of things. So I lean on Elijah a lot. Been leaning on him since we were younger. I mean, we played high school together. We were in Little League together. I mean, we played a lot. Our parents grew up together. We had the same godfather. Rest in peace to him. He passed away. So we're a lot closer than people think we are. We just kind of stay opposite ways.
Yeah. Portal philosophy. You can't talk recruiting now without talking about it. And I know you can't get into specific players, but you went to some of the most elite programs in the country and got guys to come to Syracuse. Does that just speak to how a roster, or at least pieces of a roster, can be just completely revitalized overnight because of the portal and its access?
And we just tried to go get players that would fit what we were trying to do, what we need
Yeah.
to do here to help us, get to that championship level, us being able to win on a consistent basis. We're trying to build a program, not trying to just have a football team. We got some guys to come in that have a year that are, I think, really, really tough guys that are really good football players, but extremely tough. So the culture that we want to set, when we looked at it, we all said, hey, that guy is going to give us exactly what we need for that room for those guys to become tough. That guy would do the same thing, this guy. So that's what it was. It was like, who can help us build a culture so that way we can have a good program even when those guys leave. And I think that's what's important, and that's what we're trying to get back here to Syracuse is a good program. I think they've had some good teams, and I think the coaches before me have done a good job. But as I continue to say and always speak on, just trying to get it back to that different era as it was when I grew up, when it was Pasqualoni and all his great assistants he had with George DeLeon and those guys. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to mimic the same thing. Just trying to, if I could go and be half the Coach Pasqualoni was, then I think we'll have a pretty good football team.
Definitely. That is new Syracuse coach Fran Brown. Fran, thanks so much for joining us today.
Appreciate you, man. You be safe. All right.
All right, take care now.